Alright folks, welcome back to the shop. So, today's project is to work on a Cutlass bearing. And so, we have our prop puller slash press out. I got two rods in it, got the ram mounted to the other plate, and our task this evening is to remove this Cutlass bearing from this housing. So because we're putting in new shafting and everything, we want to also replace this Cutlass bearing. These do wear out after a while, and so why this one has probably still got some service life in it, it's not going to be on this boat. So these are designed specifically for the size of shaft that you have. In this instance, it's a 2.5 inch shaft, and also the shoulder of the bronze sleeve that the rubber is mounted inside of is also it comes in a couple different thicknesses, so you need to make sure that you order it for the housing that you have in this instance. In other applications, they're actually just pressed into the stern tube, whether it's like a metal stern tube or a fiberglass stern tube. There's usually some set screws that hold them in place. This one seems to be missing its set screws. I don't know why. I found that kind of odd, but it doesn't have them in there. So we'll probably be tapping and drilling these for set screws. This is a rubber sleeve that the shaft runs on, and then you can see these grooves right here. That allows water to flow through there, lubricating and cooling the shaft. You have a water intake on each side, so the water will go in there and pass through there. Other ones have little scoops on them, like on the fishtail. The Cutlass bearing on it is actually mounted in the stern tube, and this one is mounted on the back of the keel and slides into the stern tube right here. So just different style, but same purpose. So we sourced a new Cutlass bearing, and this is what will be going back in there. So this is a 2.5 inch shaft. It's a little bit different. The ribs in there doesn't really make any difference. These come in different thicknesses. The sleeve, like I say, this is an 1/8 inch wall on this one, and I think they also come in 3/16 wall, and then I don't know if they get any bigger than that, but it's kind of cool. The Duramax line, all their different Cutlass bearings have names. So this one is a corn, is the name of the Cutlass bearing. It's kind of interesting. They've got names like, what comes to mind? Bait and, I'll have to look it up. They have, like, all their bearings have different names, so it's kind of funny. So anyways, ours is corn, so yes, it kind of looks like a nice yummy ear of corn, right? Nice and golden. So anyways, it's weird. So the OD on this is 3 inches and what is it, 3 and 3/8, I believe. So let me check here. I think it's 3 3/8. So it's 3 inches, 375 thou. So it's about 5 thousand over the bore on this one, which gives it an interference fit. So yeah, we're gonna see if we can get this out of here using our prop puller. So I just kind of have it rigged up here I was hoping that I could use 4 bolts, but I can't because this housing is too wide. So we're going to go with 2. Hopefully it doesn't fold over sideways or anything. All these pieces are pretty straight, so I think it'll be all right. I've got some different stuff assembled here. Basically, it's just from a wheel bearing set for pulling wheel bearings. Have a big sleeve right here. It'll match nicely on this inside. It'll allow the new, is that in frame? Probably not. It'll allow the new bearing to go through it. So we're going to position this on the bottom. We'll turn this over. No, we're going to leave it just like it is now, because we want to, this actually doesn't go to the very end right here. So this is 9 inches on the inside. That new bearing is 10 inches. So we'll have to trim it down, otherwise it'll block the water flow here. So pretty important thing. So we'll probably cut it down beforehand, or maybe we'll just trim it after we install it. I don't really know yet. So we're going to press it out this way because it's already flush with the end right here. So this is just going to get set up there like so. Square it up a little bit. And just try and position this stuff as square as possible. I'll just kind of use these rods as a guide right here. And then on the inside, to press against the actual bearing, you just have this little slab of metal. So that'll just capture the bronze part of the bearing right there. So we're gonna drop that in here. Pretty much self-centers in there. So I don't think there's too much of a worry. And then we've got a spacer that can go on there. And this will get us started. We're gonna have to find some other junk to throw in here at some point, maybe some short pieces of pipe, whatever, but this is gonna get us started right here. Let's see, I got another piece of plate. So this can at least see if this is going to move it all right. I don't see why it shouldn't. I'm going to try avoid putting any heat on this if we can. It's one thing to get it out, but we don't want to heat it up to put it in. We don't want to risk damaging the rubber in these. These are pretty expensive. Like close to $400, I guess, so we don't really want to goof that up. And so then we'll just put our ram on top of here. So even though it's just a short ram, we'll get some bigger ones later. This will work okay because as we start driving this down, we can extend this ram to its full length, which is a 1-inch stroke, and then collapse it. That'll drop the plate down. We just snug up the nuts again, and we'll just keep doing that until we run out of room right here. This is actually only about a ½ an inch to start with, and then we'll have to figure something else out. But yeah, so that's what we'll do. And we'll just find a spacer, and as we push it down 1 inch, we can just drop the plate down, tighten it up again, and push it down another 1 inch. 9 or 10 times later, we should be done. All right, well, moment of truth here. It's kind of nice, we can see in the slot in the side, and we'll be able to monitor the progress of this. So this is a hydraulic pump that we're going to use. It's made by Interpack. I put a gauge on it so we could monitor how much pressure we're putting into stuff. It's kind of nice. know how much strain you have on things. So this just plugs in, it's just a quick disconnect. And it is awkward because it's on here.
Cameraman assist.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I guess we'll see what we got here. See what kind of damage we can do. I just have a couple of scraps aluminum underneath here to keep this steady. It's not too bad. It looks pretty good. Yeah, so I can just peek in through the side right here and I'll be able to see if that first disc is dropping down. And just a rough measurement on this, I think it was about 3/8 of an inch and just slightly over. It's like about 7/16, so let's give it a go here. I don't know how easy this is going to move.
I get the feeling it should be pretty easy.
Interesting to see, I guess. So that's 3 tons of pressure right there on that already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much. Well, I mean, doesn't take much to pump wise.
No, it doesn't. It is bleeding off, so it's probably moving a little bit. Let me find a pick and dig in there and see if that's bronze right there, the actual lip of it. I can't really tell. I can see it there. I probably should move this to the floor, you know that? I think I will before something catastrophic does happen. All right, ready?
I hear creaking.
There it goes. Popped.
What was that at for PSI?
Well, it was at the 2-ton mark on this, but this is for a 10-ton ram. So this is a 15-ton ram, so that would be 3 tons. So yeah, it was close to 2,000 psi when it popped.
Takes some force to get her out.
Okay, so that'll be it for that. And now I'm gonna have to figure out some different spacers here. And then you can see the distance in between the nuts, so every time we drop it down, we'll get a longer spacer in there. But every time it goes down, then we'll just retract it and we'll just tighten these up. And it'll go pretty quick then. But right now I was just wanting to have a good solid plate in there to kind of initially break it loose, I guess. And then at some point we'll have to figure something else out on the bottom too. So why this isn't the ideal setup, it's what we have. We don't have a shop press. I've been threatening to build one for some time, but I just never get around to it or procure the parts. Yeah, sometimes that stuff can be a little pricey, and other things to spend money on, so one day. A lot of it comes down to how often do you use it too. I suppose we would use a shop press fairly frequently, at least 2 or 3 times a year, I suppose, but nice trick for taking lots of long fine threads off. It's just a towel or something. Spin them on and off quickly like that. Alright, so we'll lift this off of here. And so that piece is fine to continue its journey down, but I need to find something smaller to go in its stead. Let's see, I don't know. I ground up a hunk of pipe here. I can only go down so far before we hit the bottom of this anyways, so that piece of pipe will work for now. Okay, so this outside graduation is PSI. So this gauge goes up to 10,000 PSI. That's what this pump is rated for. That's what most of these Rams are also rated for, is 10,000 PSI. I guess 8,000 is kind of the safe zone. After that, you kind of get into the gray zone. I don't know why they didn't make it red. It was kind of like a olive, I guess. The very first inside graduation is tons, so like I say, this would be for 10-ton cylinder is what this gauge is for, but of course you can use it for anything. You just have to use some simple math. So because this is a 15-ton, 1 ton right here where it's at right now is actually 1.5 tons. Up here where it shows the 2, that would be 2 tons. That's actually 3 tons of force on this. So basically hitting that every time and then popping. So that's 3 tons of force in there right now. When we took the prop off, I don't quite recall where we were at, but I think we were somewhere up around 5 to 6 tons on this gauge. Well, with this cylinder, it would have been I think we hit around
6,000 psi.
6,000 psi. So that would have been close to 10 tons. Yeah.
That's a lot of force.
Yeah. So I think that's just about it for that. So now we'll just loosen that. It just drops right down, and we'll just run these nuts back down again.
Rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat, yes. So maybe I'll get a bigger cylinder one of these days here in the future. I do a lot of shopping on eBay. That's where I got this unit. It was a good price on it for the kit. These are expensive. The kit was within our budget. We knew that we'd be able to use this for a lot of stuff. This isn't just a prop puller, as you can see. You can basically use this as a press, and we'll be able to press this Cutlass back in using this configuration, just switched around a little bit. You could easily use this stuff for a lot of other things, pressing bushings into sleeves, or bearings into sleeves, things like that. So it's got a lot of uses, and the Porta Power itself, you can get all kinds of different cylinders, you know, ones that do have scissors, different cylinders that have a longer throw. There's lots of configurations out there. So I might look around for another cylinder that's got like a, I don't know, like a 8 or 10 inch throw on it or something like that. Stroke. We'll see. For now, this does what we need.
How much till you bottom out on the plate?
I don't know.
Starting to hear some.
Check here. Now I relieved.
I suppose it was like.
I relieved the pressure right there, so I'm not like sticking my finger in here, wanting to get it crushed or anything, folks. It's still got about half an inch or so. Really, when this thing just spikes, then you're gonna know.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of getting crunched, I hear some poor barnacles getting crunched.
That's what I hear.
And that's it. So I can tell right now that we just bottomed out, because that pressure gauge is just going to keep going up. So now we need to find something different for the bottom. So I shall dig around in the scrap bin and see what I can come up with for another spacer. And we'll bring you back when we find something suitable. Okay. We are part of the way there. I guess that's maybe about a third. Maybe not quite. What's that, about 2.5 inches? Yeah, just shy 2 1/4 inches. So I believe this was 9 inches that I measured. Yes, it is just slightly over 9. And like I say, this comes in a 10-inch piece, so this will need to be trimmed down so we get water flow through this bearing to lubricate and cool our shaft. That's coming out quite nicely. It looks like, by the looks of this, that it's the tolerance is a little tighter right here, and then maybe it's opened up in the center. They're probably just with the thought that you don't need 9 inches of interference fit there, that you just need a couple of inches on each end. So it'll be interesting once we get that opened up and we can see inside.
Get an idea what's going on with those set screws and whatnot.
Yeah. War looks good anyways. My plate thingy fell out of there. I don't know if I can see in there or not. Shine the flashlight in there. Yeah.
Focus.
Focus, concentrate.
Yep.
And you can see the port on the side where it comes through. One on each side.
So the thrust of the prop must pull water through there, huh? Because they're not cups like the fishtail.
Well, that's interesting, actually. Yeah, I wonder about that, or if it's just enough that I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, the keel is actually wider than the base too.
Yeah.
So it's not like it could kind of like. I mean, it's just.
I suppose
it's a very slight. You know, it's out very slightly right here, but it's definitely not like a scoop or anything. So
could be that the water comes around the keel into an eddy and flows in there too.
Yeah.
Interesting to find out about that.
I guess it gets enough to do its job. It didn't seem like excessive wear on the tail shaft or anything. Yeah. So I need to rustle up something to go on the outside of that, don't I?
Alright, so we'll come back once we find some more
spacers.
More spacers. Alright.
Yeah.
Alright, everyone. Sometime later. We've been working on our list of things to check off before we go in the yard, and doing this Cutlass bearing is one of them. So I think we were last on this little project. Who knows?
Been a little while now. Like everything.
Yep, been chipping away on the boat, so
Busy
lots
with
of good
stuff.
Lots of good progress there anyway. But nice day to work on this. Get it wrapped up, hopefully.
So of course we just have the house of cards here. Let's see if we can't get this to tumble down and crush our toes. So the situation is our plate doesn't have a hole big enough. I think I might get another plate and with a larger diameter hole in it, but well, not today. So we're just working with what we have here. I'm just kind of fiddling around. So we just found a longer piece of scrap aluminum down here that we can press that Cutlass bearing through. And now we just kind of gotta get this stuff matched up again, I guess, until we find the right height. We'll just drop a couple of these in there again, Matt. What was I kind of forget what we actually had going on here. It has been a little bit. And that's what we had going on, huh?
Yep.
Alrighty. So we shall drop that in there. And drop that in there. And now we can just throw a stack of these washers in there. Will work. How's that sound?
Oh yeah, there we go.
Doesn't have to be anything fancy.
Alright, that's perfect.
Yeah. This will get us started again, and we'll just do the same thing here. We'll just keep working this weight down. Yeah. I mean, it's not an ideal setup, but it'll work. And we shall pump away on this and see what happens. So there's not very much stress on this at this point anyway, so those plates are gonna pop out of there, aren't they?
Yeah, I see them already tipping.
Yeah. Alright. Well, what I should probably do is just take that one piece and cut it down.
You need a disc with a hole in it that's small enough to fit through your two pieces. Huh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something a little safer than that.
Yep.
I know that those were gonna just come out of there.
Yeah. They're gonna tilt and pop.
If they were on edge, they'd probably be okay. Maybe. Because I'd put the surface more in line. But we better come up with something a little more kosher than that.
Alright, plan B.
Go dig around some more for some more supplies here.
Alright, round 2. Got a chunk of aluminum from the scrap bin.
Yeah, it had a flange thing on it. I was being lazy to cut it, but I guess that's the smart thing to do, is to not get hurt today. So yeah, that fits right on top of the Cutlass, so drop right in there. Perfect. Now we're safe again.
Like a glove.
And it fits a lot better. Let's see. If we run out of throw on that, which we will, I think that'll be enough to make up the difference. 9 inches, that's about right. Using my handy dandy tape measure. Okay, back to business here then.
Yeah, a lot less sketch.
Come on.
Oh, now we can't watch progress below. It's closed off. Quick, cut a window.
What, right here?
Yep.
Yeah, there's gonna be nothing to see here, folks.
Let's just watch your gauge, huh?
See, there should be no reason that it doesn't go here, so we're good. So we'll just go until our gauge starts to peg up, which means that we're at the end of the throw on the cylinder, at which point we shall reset.
Crunching of barnacles on the inside of the housing.
Sorry, barnacles.
You lived a good life, I think.
But you just chose a bad place to live. So I guess there won't be a whole lot to see here for a little while.
Yeah. Just bring you on back once we
So you can see that this won't pump anymore. I'm not forcing down on it, but it just got stiff, so I know that we're at the end of our throw. Now we'll just let that release. Run our bolts down again, and we'll do that a few more times until we run out of space, and then we'll throw some more shims in here, and we'll just keep doing this until we get that old Cutlass out.
Alright, so we got the bearing here pushed out about as far as our contraption there will let us, so at least let us without being too sketchy.
Oh, here's another. That one's not big enough. Yeah.
So it's pretty far out.
I think
you
it
can
has
see
a ½ inch to go.
you can see this cleaner brass here. It's corresponding to that side, so there's probably another 1.5 inches or so on that side, 1.25 inches.
It should only be like ½ an inch, but
I guess you
put
said
a
it's a
little
9
mark
inch
there.
bushing or
Yeah.
bearing.
Yeah, the Cutlass
½
was
inch,
9
okay.
inch, so about ½ inch.
All right, cool.
So this is the part where the interference fit is on each of this. About right here, and then the very end of the pilot bore right there. The rest of it's, the ID on the inside is bored a little bit more. There's just no reason to have interference fit on that whole thing. It'd be pretty tough to pull out. Otherwise, you just require a lot more force. So we should just be able to give this a couple of whacks, I think, and we'll see here.
Yep.
Going?
Coming.
Alright. This should actually just be under here. Oh, it's about ready to pop out of there, isn't it? After I crunched my thumb already. There we go.
Blink.
Easy cheesy peasy.
Yeah.
And a sliver in the hand to top off tonight's events. Awesome.
Nice.
So that's the old one.
Good chunk of brass right there, huh?
Yeah. Yep. Good for something, I just don't know what.
Looks like we'll need to clean it up a little bit in there. Lots of crispies
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah, so it's hard to see, but well, right here is where the bearing comes up to right there, that first line. Down a little deeper, you can see where it's bored more in the center, and same thing down further, except for that stuff that's in there. Same thing right here. You can see that it's bored more on the inside right here. So these are the two areas with the interference fit. This one does have a set screw, I believe. Did it have a set
sure
screw?
does, right there.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Didn't have it in it.
Yeah, one doesn't have one on either side, which is interesting, I guess. I don't know why. I think we'll clean those out and put them in.
I think that's why it's so crusty in there. It just open ports, letting all the salt water in there and sea life.
Well, that's a good point, actually, Matt. Because there wouldn't be any way for that to really go in there. Otherwise, water would get in there maybe, but not sea life.
Yeah.
Not little baby barnacles. Yeah.
So
well,
we'll get this thing all cleaned up, huh?
yeah, maybe just a wire wheel on a drill, huh?
Yeah.
That might have to make a little extender for it or something. And yeah, we'll get our new one. I don't know whether it's best to cut it before or after. I think maybe we'll just take the old shaft and stick it in there when we do cut it, so we don't risk pulling this rubber away from the brass. Slide the shaft in there, our old piece, and then we can trim around it and just trim right up against the shaft and not worry about trying to drag this rubber or anything. It should cut just fine with the bandsaw. Yeah, nothing too fancy or technical about it. A quick chamfer on the edge and drive it back in there. So yeah, that'll be nice.
Righto. Well, we shall bring you back once we're on to greater things.
Yeah, this will require some cleanup. There's this, oh, I think somebody asked about the, I think they said plumber's strap. So there is brass bonding. It's just like a piece of brass, thin brass plate or strapping. Probably similar. I don't think it's copper, because copper usually gets eaten up pretty quick in salt water, so I think it's actually brass strap. You can see where a piece was attached here. Probably a long time ago. That's like a really nice sharp dag right there that they left behind. It's been poking me every time I move this thing around. So that's going to come off of there, because yeah, that's a nice cut right there waiting to happen.
Yeah, as far as
they had the strap just off one of the nuts, so we'll see what this is. It looks like it's a screw, probably.
Yeah, I think I see a flathead in there, so.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and pull that out. Probably replace that with something else. I don't know. We'll see. I hate to mix like stainless into things like this. You're really better off to use silicon bronze, because that's what this is going to be, is a type of bronze. It's better to keep your metals as close as possible to each other. That's what the bolts and nuts are, is silicone bronze. So I might order a couple of little bronze bolts for these. and could do the same with that, just to get a regular bolt instead of a screw head like that. And at any rate, this will get bonded back together. That's what the strapping is for, is to tie all this stuff together into a big heavy zinc, and then that way the zinc gets eaten up by corrosion and not your important stuff. But yeah, we'll give this a good grind off and get it cleaned up, get all the funk off of it, repaint it, be good as new.